So today I want to talk about what we perceive as crazy. Too often, I do something and then someone's like, dude, that's crazy, and they don't even really respond in that sense of it. They're like, man, or they just like give emotional feelings that make you kind of get this sense of, well, that's not acceptable, that's not what should have just happened type thing. I think oftentimes we kind of forget, well, what is crazy in the sense, do we just say crazy because we don't understand? I've found with myself, a lot of the times that's usually what happens. You say, oh wow, that's crazy. Because in the moment you don't know how to express what you're feeling, so you take the sensitive of that and you just say it. Crazy does have its place, and a lot of people can have crazy moments more or less based on having too many things happen at once. For example, say if you're working and on top of that you just had some stressful tension at home, kind of develop. You kind of have all of this you have like all this pre-thoughts floating in your mind, if you will. And as they're floating, they're adding up. The emotions are adding to them. And it kind of gives you this uneasy feeling. And then, you have workload happening. Then you might have after job stuff you have to do. Then, you run into a situation where maybe your car just kind of like broke down. And, you have all these falling things happening and rising things happening in your life. And it can get a little overwhelming at times. And it can give you this moment of feeling of crazy. Because you're so dwelling on it, so quickly processing it, that it kind of just overloads you. And once you hit that, you start losing attention on certain things. For example, have you been so busy that you lost track where you put your keys? And just kind of like go crazy just in that, like, where's my phone? Where are my keys? Where's my wallet? And usually it all comes down to, because you have so much going on in your mind, that you forget those little elements. The times you're just on your A game, or the times you're just so fully understanding life. And I think a lot of us, we have a lot of those moments, but then we also have a lot of moments of confusion, or crazy, if you will, that we're just not really aware of. I kind of have found, usually, the best moments of my life are the moments that are very organized. And what I mean by that is, I'm on track, I'm on task, going forth, doing what I know I need to do. And I don't really have anything else going on in my mind. The times I'm like on task, if you will, but also having tons of problems or tons of things I'm dwelling on and trying to figure out, I notice I lose track of things easier. Sometimes you lose complete track of time, other times you lose track of, like I was saying earlier, your phone or your wallet. And I think if we start learning how our minds are working and what is happening while we're doing stuff, we won't have as many crazy moments. And a lot of people, I think, they have anxiety and stuff based off these type of emotional feelings happening. Many times, I think they go to the term crazy when something overwhelming happens. They just saw something that just never happened before. So for them, it's a new experience. It's like, whoa. And I think that's healthy. It's very healthy. It just gets unhealthy when people start labeling something crazy when they just simply don't want to take the time to understand. I think that's unhealthy for the person, not necessarily saying it, they're just saying it in a shallow manner. The person who is hearing someone say, oh, you're crazy, I think psychologically it's damaging, because it's basically lowering them. They might have spent hours and days thinking about something, and then they share it, and then someone just doesn't understand or doesn't want to understand, and because of that, it really, I think, can hurt the person and make them just not continue trying. Instead of someone taking the moment, to listen and understand and be like, wow, I see where you're coming from, and hey, maybe this perspective of what you're saying has, it can maybe conclude to what you're thinking, and the craziness on both sides will fill itself out. But too often, I think someone hears something and they just prejudge the crazy. They prejudge this just because they don't want to take the time to understand. They don't want to take the time to step into that person's shoes, their perspective, and kind of just float with it for a second. Oftentimes, if it took someone days and days to come to a conclusion, I don't care how smart you are, I don't think you're going to be able to understand within seconds of what they just said. Because a lot of the time, you have thoughts floating in your head, right? And then someone vocalizes it out. The first time they say it outwardly, unless they pre-thought about it for a long time and kind of like had the conversation go on in their head and then they said it, it might make more sense. But some people, they don't have that. They don't think of doing that, I should say, and they just say stuff, and as they're saying it, they're learning. And a lot of extroverted people have this issue, and sometimes I think they're misunderstood a lot of the times because of it. But if we will, I guess, start slowly taking the word crazy and start using the word confusion or not understanding to replace it, I think people, when they have conversations go on, they'll feel more respected and more understood based off that approach, instead of just labeling as that. We do have crazy people out there, so don't misinterpret. And a lot of the times, I kind of touch base on a lot of times why people have these crazy moments is they have so much happen in life that they don't understand. We're talking so much to the point where it's years of confusion, years of just kind of like struggling to survive on. And I think with all of these years adding up, they can have emotional abuse, physical abuse. It kind of can actually like break someone mentally to the point they are a little crazy, because they're just so lost in confusion in their mind that they don't know how to come back out into reality. And a lot of people don't think of it that way. They just see someone and they don't kind of like just see, well, where are they coming from? Why are they being this way? People just see, judge, and move on instead of seeing, examining, researching, getting to know, understand, and then proceed on. Most people never do that because it does take time. And when it comes to people you love and care about, you really want to approach people in that aspect. If it's strangers and all, and people you're not really wanting to spend a lot of time with, you still should give them that respect. But you don't have to do it to such extreme levels. And it's all about balance and personal interests and whatnot. But overall, I think if people start approaching things in life in all aspects with that kind of motto, understanding before responding, I think you will learn a lot more, and you will actually benefit from experiencing anything you come across, because you will learn something. Too many times we just kind of see, respond, and move on. See, examine, but not really actually take in. And once you start taking in, examining, understanding, questioning even, you're going to see growth on relationships, on just your view of life, on pretty much all aspects. And that leads on another moment or perspective. You got to enjoy the moment and live in the moment instead of just thinking of the next moment. For myself, this is a huge issue. I rarely actually live in the moment. I'm always thinking so incredibly much that it sometimes actually it ruins my potential day and perspective of what just took place. And I've been trying to, catch myself and whatnot. I'm actually currently writing a book on some stuff like that, and I'm a writer and researcher, so I'm always constantly trying to grow and learn so I can understand and help people understand things better. And we're just all growing. I think people need to apply that into their perspective too. No one's perfect. No one's going to know everything. That's why coming together and having deep conversations that are meaningful, they have their place and their purpose, because it helps perspectives grow. It helps character even grows, and it even helps systems and really difficult things in life start making more sense or start having solutions. But if we're never taking the time to do that, we're never going to have that. We're just going to kind of have this see, check, go, and move on type thing, instead of see, understand, and grow and move on. And when you're growing and accepting and seeing and perceiving all that and applying that into your life, you're enriching yourself. For me, I'm religious, so I always try to tie God into it, and that's a whole other conversation. But a balanced life is a happy life, and you'll hear me say that a lot, because the more I live, the more I really, really, really understand that. anyways, comment below and, share your perspectives on just how you think of the word crazy, how you maybe have felt towards people, giving you criticism based on something you said that, was taken as crazy. And just get feedback. And of course, share the video, because I want to make more and more videos like this. And my topics are going to range. And I might actually start reading a script to some aspects, but I'm not sure. It might ruin it. I just jump a lot, and give me feedback on that aspect even. Do I move too fast? I don't know. I'm experimenting on a video side of things, I'll put it that way. But ultimately, you gotta be real and genuine from day one. And that's kind of how I try to be. So, thanks for watching.